बलदेवा प्रभु की जय, सुभद्रा महारानी की जय, लॉर्ड जगन्नाथ की जय, गौरंग महाप्रभु की जय, नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, पंचतत्वा की जय, लॉर्ड वामन देव की जय, लॉर्ड परशुरामा की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय। हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशातारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। So we are today going to begin our chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, titled Contents of the Gita Summarized. We are reading Shloka 2.1, second chapter, first verse. Sañjaya uvāca tam tathā kṛpayāviṣṭam aśru-pūrṇākulekṣaṇam viṣīdantam idaṁ vākyam uvāca Madhusūdana. Sañjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusūdana, Krishna, spoke the following words. So Sañjaya is the secretary of Dhritarashtra, and he was empowered by Lord Vyasadeva with a spiritual vision where he could see the entire battlefield and dictate it to Dhritarashtra, who was blind, what activities are happening in the battlefield. So here Krishna has been addressed as Madhusūdana, the killer of the demon Madhu, because Krishna killed the demon Madhu. So Madhu Ketapahari. So Arjuna was attacked right now by a demon of forgetting his duty as a kṣatriya, because he was too much afflicted by bodily relationship. And in this material world, this is our position. We are so much attached to this bodily relationship that it is considered just like as if we are haunted by a ghost. And there is in poem in Prema Vivarta, it is said, Pishachi paile yena mati channa haya, maya grasta jivera haya se bhava uddaya. Maya grasta jiva. Maya means illusion, hallucination. So in this material world, we all are illusion. And illusion means accepting something as fact, which is actually not. Just like in a dream, sometimes some person might feel that he's being attacked by a tiger and his head is being cut off and so on, whereas no such thing is happening, and yet he is crying, here is a tiger, help. So this is how our attachment for this material world is like. It is all illusion, and we think that without me everything will be destroyed or spoiled, so my presence is required forever, like so on, forever. And we know our political leaders, once they get into position, for example, they don't want to leave that position, that power, and they want to experience it, and they feel that the entire situation will be spoiled without them. So this is how the material attachment is very strong. And Mahatma Gandhi, we know that Mahatma Gandhi also was so attached to this political life, although he could have retired and peacefully practice spirituality at a later stage, whereas it did not happen. And but the world continued. So this is all Maya, this is illusion. So the attachment of this material world is very strong. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Rishabhadeva says that Pumshastriya mithuni bhavam etat. Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 5th chapter, 8th verse. So this material world is attachment, begins with attachment of male and female. There is sex impulse, there is attachment, and then once tayor mitho hridaya granthim ahu, once they are married, they are united, it becomes this very hard, strong knot in the heart. Then gradually one becomes attached to griha, home, and then he would want to have work in an industry or cultivate in a piece of land. So griya kshetra, then children, friends, and money, because without money one cannot maintain. So there is moha now. He becomes more and more illusioned. Then it is like, this is my country, this is my family, house, and so on, children, and this is mine, I am this body. This is all becomes very illusion. So Arjuna was experiencing all this. He appeared to be illusion. How am I going to fight with my family members, my brother's grandfather who is on the other side? He became so much illusion. But so that's tam tathā kṛpayāviṣṭam. But his was compassion. He was very much compassionate for his family members. kṛpayāviṣṭam aśru-pūrṇākulekṣaṇam. And he was crying with tears in his eyes. viṣīdantam idaṁ vākyam. And he was lamenting in this way. How shall I fight? And now Krishna will begin speaking, and he will remove this illusion of his friend Arjuna, because he realized that his friend has become so much illusion. Krishna would kill the demon of illusion. So, Arjuna can perform his duty as a kṣatriya. So here Krishna, therefore, this is the reason why Krishna is addressed as Madhusūdana. And we know that when Krishna comes, he does two things. He comes for two purposes. One, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Side by side, he will perform two purposes. One, he will kill the miscreants, annihilate the miscreants, and he will give protection to his devotees who are sadhu. So sadhu, devotee of Krishna, is mentioned as sadhu. One is api chet su duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhur eva sa mantavyaha. One who is strictly a pure devotee of Krishna is mentioned as sadhu. He is a first class sadhu. Even if he is a grasta, it doesn't matter. People have an impression that one has to be in saffron cloth to be a sadhu, but that is not the case. One can be a first class sadhu. He can be a grasta. It does not matter. So sadhu's qualification is that he must be a pure devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. So Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna, a friend also. So Krishna here is removing this demon of illusion. And we know Krishna is accepted as universally the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna has said in Bhagavad-gītā, aham sarvasya prabhava, I am the origin of everything. So, so one can take to this seriously and understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because we are sinful, we are obstinate, we and atheists and the lowest of mankind, we have been gripped by, our knowledge has been gripped by Maya. It has been taken away by Maya. That is why we do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or we have difficulty in doing so. So unless one is a miscreant, full of sinful life, he cannot deny Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Krishna consciousness movement, and this is what it is preaching all over the world. How you can advance in civilization. Whereas, you have advanced in material civilization, scientific knowledge and everything else, but this God consciousness, this Krishna is missing there. So this is what is Krishna consciousness is all about. You can make your life successful by understanding who Krishna is, right? So Krishna is doing this to Arjuna. He's removing his illusion, his attachment. And other thing worth noting is that this is happening in Kurukshetra, which is Dharma Kshetra, a place of where religious performances are done. And the effect of this Dharma Kshetra is manifested in the body of Arjuna, whereas it is not manifested in the body of Duryodhana. Why? Because if one is pure, then the effects of dharma becomes manifest in that person very quickly. Whereas if one is performing sinful activities, it is difficult. So, people who perform mischievous activities, dushkritina, they misuse their good brain, kriti, for mischievous activities. They are called dushkritina. So why do they do that? Because they are muda, rascals. So one should utilize his good brain for good purposes, Krishna consciousness, getting that knowledge and utilizing it for the benefit of the everyone. So these are the symptoms, and other thing is, a devotee is never envious. A devotee is never envious. So that is also required for progressing in Krishna consciousness. So in this material world, everyone is running after this false happiness, false reality, like a mirage in a desert. You are thinking that this is what there is water, whereas there is no water. So this is how the material world is, and this is the material condition, and almost everybody is envious. So one should not be envious. That is the qualification of another qualification of devotee. So what Krishna does is he gives us, just like he is doing it to Arjuna. Krishna is giving this Bhagavad-gītā to Arjuna to remove his illusion, so can perform his duty as a kṣatriya, and this is his service to Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is also his friend. So he is not envious, but Krishna will remove his ignorance. This is illusion. He'll be removing it, and this is what Bhagavad-gītā does. This is the basic principle of Bhagavad-gītā, and we can also benefit in the same way, progress by reading Bhagavad-gītā, and that is what we are doing. So this is the secret formula. So we can conclude it here for the day. So I thank you all for joining for this morning chanting and shloka session. Hare Krishna. Thanks to all the Matajis and Prabhujis. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna.